Senator, it's great to have you back on. Okay, we've got analysis coming in. WABC Radio looked at 13 U.S. cities with district attorneys bankrolled by George Soros's nonprofits. All of these cities show rising homicides. Your reaction to that?
Well, unfortunately, that's not surprising. Soros has funded putting extreme left-wing district attorneys in office, helping them get elected across the country. And these extreme left-wing DAs, when they get in office, refuse to prosecute crimes. And in fact, they deliberately undermine the criminal justice system. And as the stats you're airing are showing, we're seeing murder rates, we're seeing crime rates rising across the country, across the entire country. Last year, murder rates rose 30% across the country. That is the highest one-year increase in murder rates in over 100 years. And it's when you have Democratic politicians arguing for abolishing the police, undermining the cops, and when you have DAs refusing to prosecute crimes, the result, to the shock of nobody, is more crimes and more murders.
You know, Senator, Chicago, Milwaukee, Jackson, Mississippi set murder records this year. All have Soros-backed DAs. He's pouring tens of millions of dollars into the campaign war chests of these DA candidates from coast to coast. It's swamping all the other candidates. How do you stop this?
Well, you stop this by saying enough is enough, by having the people rise up against these left-wing DAs, by having the people hold Joe Biden and Senate Democrats accountable. Look, listen, Joe Biden has nominated not one, but two senior officials at the Department of Justice who are among the leading advocates in the country for abolishing the police. They're now senior DOJ officials. Every single Senate Democrat voted to confirm them. Just last week, we had a fight on the Senate floor because Biden took one of these Soros prosecutors, Rachel Rollins, up in Massachusetts. He nominated her to be the U.S. attorney for the state of Massachusetts. We had a battle on the Senate floor. So Rachel Rollins put out a memo under her own name when she was the Suffolk DA, and she listed 15 offenses that her prosecutors were not allowed to prosecute, that they were instructed to dismiss the case. Those included things like breaking and entering, like larceny, like resisting of arrest, like drug dealing, and not just drug dealing of marijuana, but hard drugs, PCP, fentanyl, heroin. It was a stunning list of just crimes that she refused to prosecute. Biden said she should be the top federal law enforcement officer in the state of Massachusetts, and to my astonishment, every single Senate Democrat, even those that call themselves moderates, every one of them voted to confirm her. The tie was 50-50, and Vice President Kamala Harris broke the tie. That, people have got to say, enough is enough. And I think the constituents of these Democratic senators need to ask them, why are you voting to confirm prosecutors and DOJ officials who want to abolish the police and who refuse to prosecute crimes?
And they eliminate or cut bail. So, you know, are the Democrats really that out of touch that they don't care what the regular American taxpayer is dealing with and how scared they are with what they see going on around them? I mean, it's astonishing. Rachel Rollins is the same person who was yelling at reporters to get away from her and that she was threatening to prosecute them when they're asking her questions. I mean, so now you have catch and release at the border. Now it's catch and release in the U.S. justice system because of George Soros?
You know, sadly it is. I'll give you another example. John Chisholm, who's the DA in Milwaukee. You remember the defendant who drove his red SUV into the Christmas parade and murdered several people. That defendant had previously been arrested for driving that same red SUV to run down a woman who was the mother of his child. He was arrested for running someone down with the SUV. And John Chisholm, this left-wing Soros DA, released him on bail on $1,000 bail. And what does he do? He takes the same vehicle, the same red SUV, and plows it into a Christmas parade, murdering people, murdering children. It is horrific. And there's a direct cause and effect. If you don't prosecute crimes, if you let violent criminals go, they commit more crimes of violence.
Yeah, and Senator,
and right now,
Sorry, that Milwaukee DA applauded the DA of Philadelphia, who also got $1.7 million from George Soros's nonprofit. He's saying, oh, we don't have a crime crisis when homicides and murders are up and other violent crimes are up.
Look, that is exactly right. Just today in the Senate Judiciary Committee, we had a hearing on a Biden judicial nominee to the Court of Appeals, who is a federal judge in New York, who released criminals, violent criminals, on so-called compassionate release because of COVID. She did so in one instance at least, without even hearing from the prosecution, just releasing violent community. And the same. It's, as you noted, it's catch and release on the border. The Biden administration has allowed over 2 million people to cross legally into the United States this year. It's the highest rate of illegal immigration in over 60 years. And we're talking about illegal immigrants, many of whom have murder convictions, rape convictions, assault convictions, many of whom are MS-13 gang members. And I got to tell you, in South Texas, the communities in South Texas, I did roundtables with elected officials and law enforcement. There were a number of elected Democrats there who were saying, listen, if my party is the party of open borders, I can't support this. It's lawless.
Yeah, now Hispanics are moving to the GOP or becoming independents.
Yes.
We know that the Republicans in the Senate are going to have hearings on what's going on with the rising crime wave. And we thank you, Senator Ted Cruz. Thanks for joining us. You'll come back again soon, we hope. It's good to have you on.